In the ranks of computer RPGs, the Realms of Arkania series has scored consistent high marks with players and critics alike. Now, Germany's Attic Entertainment and Surtech are putting the final touches on the latest installment of this popular saga, Shadows over Riva. This is the third and final installment of the Northlands trilogy, which also includes its predecessors Blade of Destiny and Star Trail. To get the lowdown on this hardcore fantasy epic, IE went to Ogdensburg, New York, to talk with Attic's most famous member, Guido Henkel.
Well, basically the game starts off exactly at that point where Star Trail left, which means that the Orcish threat is still around, although the elves and the dwarves have combined their forces to go against the Orcish armies. Considering this, the heroes that might be brought in from Star Trail into Shadows over Riva now have the opportunity to find out what is really going on with the Orcs, because it strikes them some way odd that the Orcs suddenly grew so much intelligence to really go against mankind. And where did they get this intelligence from? It's one of the main objects in Shadows over Riva to find this out. Shadows over Riva basically is based in the city of Riva, where all the action takes place. And despite Star Trail, for example, where we had this really large traveling system, we dropped that one out completely. Actually, that was one of the points where people complained the most on Star Trail, that still the traveling system was in there, and it's very time consuming, and they didn't like it a lot. And that was why we decided, okay, let's get rid of this thing. It was a pain all the time to develop this traveling system anyhow. So this time we have this setting in the city with all those different dungeons, sewers, towers, and all that. We still have two different modes of playing the game. First of all, the novice mode, which really hides all the attributes and character talents and skills and all that, which should make it fairly easy to get into the game. And we have the advanced mode, where you have access to all those things. So it's really down to you how you want to get into the game. There's one track that you have to follow, but the problem is to find the track, the right track. You know, we have a lot of misleading information in there, which is a little different than in Star Trail, where people purposely put you on the wrong track. It's more like they don't know better. It's just they give you some piece of information which they think is valid, but in fact it's not, which you will eventually discover in the game. We have a new feature in there which allows you to delete information from the diary, which you couldn't do in Star Trail. So even if you gather too much information, it's not a problem to get rid of it afterwards again. But still, the diary basically is the same. We've changed one thing though in respect to the dialogues, because in the dialogues in Star Trail you had to push a button whenever you wanted a certain piece of information to go into the diary. And it's been overused heavily, so people just gathered amounts and amounts of information they never use, and it wasn't useful to them anyhow. So this time we said, okay, we as the designers decide what makes it into the diary and not.
When Shadows over Riva is released in the first quarter of '96, it will also have improvements in the Star Trail dialogue system that will allow players to choose an attitude when asking a question, and will have NPCs recognizing the party when encountering them for the second time. Players can also expect a full CD audio orchestral soundtrack, complete with leitmotifs and mood shifts to fit the situation.
A lot of people ask us, once you've finished the Northlands trilogy with Shadows over Riva, what will happen to the Realms of Arkania series? And well, we don't have plans on stopping developing Realms of Arkania series games. We haven't concrete plans on how they will look like and how they will feel like, how they will play. But one thing is sure, we will rework and redesign the whole thing. Because, you know, the engine is up there for 4 years now, and it's pretty much time to reconsider the whole situation and let ourselves and the game be influenced by the technologies that there are today. So maybe the fourth part of the sequel will run under another operating system like Windows 95 or whatever. We haven't decided on all that yet.